We're living through a live stream genocide. There's no ways of mincing about that it's not. It just fucking is. My models are there to kind of draw people in and let people just start look at things and then think about what's going on there. One part of the exhibition is the 19 Flags piece, which is the kind of protest part of it. The other part of it is the Landscapes of Loss black box series, which is really what the protest is about. I started to make a model about the hypocrisies between what's happening in Palestine and what was happening in Ukraine, the kind of validation of what is a just cause to kind of support and oppress people who are generally white, who are kind of seen as Western, or oppress people who are generally from the Near or Middle East, who are generally black. And that opened up again the idea of racism and colonialism. The hypocrisies there are endemic within the state and all the apparatuses of state, and the apparatuses that support the state, whether they intentionally or unintentionally, like kind of mainstream media. The lack of reporting, Chomsky talks about it. Propaganda by omission, in the same way that one of the quotes I've used is a very famous quote by Desmond Tutu: if you're neutral in situations of injustice, you've chosen the side of the oppressor. And the parallels between apartheid South Africa and what's happening in Palestine are really strong. The boycott of South African goods back in the 80s was really successful, and it showed that certain kind of direct and indirect action by not doing something actually has a use. It's been shown already around the world that things like McDonald's and Coca-Cola are on a decline. So the 19 Flags are models which are there to kind of celebrate and memorialise and give an extra bit of credence to the show different types of protests, whether it's direct actions or whether it's standard demonstrations or marches, or whether it's sit-ins, whether it's protests, whether it's encampments, whether it's BDS movement, or whether it's institute shaming, or whether it's meeting disruptions, kind of emulating the kind of many possibilities. We're getting more and more desensitised by photographs, because there's the horror that's almost becoming so horrendous what's happened. So it's that level between how do we not over-sensationalise what's going on or re-victimise people. I've known a lot about Palestine for a long while, but one of the things I didn't really know about was wells being blocked. The image I had was somebody with a bucket and a shit spade and filling in a well with, concrete, and actually it was an industrial Mercedes-Benz cement mixer backing up and chucking its whole load down a well to cap it completely and completely poison that watercourse forever, if not for decades, to let people start questioning and to look for themselves, because a lot of the answers are out there. Art has a power because it can be a mixture of fact and fiction intertwined together. The models here, some of them are based on photographs, but other ones are snapshots from different protests put together. So, a documentary photographer couldn't really do that because there's multiple things going on in the one model, but they're all truthful, or they all have nods and hints to things. So there's a power there that you can have a creativity within art that can tell a bigger picture and story. And I think that's possibly why some of the state apparatus is kind of scared of art in some ways generally. And sometimes they just want to ignore it, but at some points they shut stuff down. I'm working on the next set of models, and then I'll have all 19 models ready for show. Every time I go to protest, or every time I can look at things, something new pops up that's, I want to support by turning it into an archive. If we don't place our own history, it gets overwritten. It's quite important, I think, that we as artists actually do work about it's both political in its content, but also in its ethos as well. And actually we are both artists and activists in that sense. Some of the work in this show is about how do we support a cause, but also support people who are doing it. So if you don't feel able to be on a direct action, that's okay. But have the ability to go and support these people, police station supports and court supports, do your letter writing and stuff. I'll use the quote from Greta Thunberg: the one thing we need more than hope is action. Once we act, hope is everywhere. It's partly a publication as well as an exhibition, and the publication includes images from the models, but also a number of texts. I wanted to bring in people who wanted to put pen to paper in different ways. A letter to an MP, a rant about their feelings about protests, more poetic pieces. There's also written work by artists from Australia, America, France, Austria, Germany, to give a flavour of what happens elsewhere, which echo what's happening here as well.
the exhibition in Out of the Blue, Gaza Before and After, and shows you a little bit about what a flourishing place Gaza was before the genocide. The network has been in operation now for some 10 years. We ask our contacts in Palestine to provide us with photographs on a particular theme. 15, 20 exhibitions over the past 10 years. We have donated well over £20,000 actually. So we've got a kind of way of getting money across there which our treasurer takes care of. It's through an intermediary, but it always gets there and it gets to people who need it. We came across Euan and we thought this is a fantastic piece of work he's done. So we always try and open up to any other influences around. Most of our photographers are in Gaza. We were very diffident about asking our people in Gaza to send us photos when they're under such incredible pressure themselves. But actually, they just kept on doing it. We lost one of our comrades on the 7th of September. His name is Nidal Al-Wahidi.
Palestine actually ties into so many things that are happening to do with climate change and resource wars and authoritarianism, colonialism, racism, and these things are all overlapping. I think it's our responsibility to join up the dots with the rise of authoritarianism and fascism. A Palestinian friend did one of the pieces of text in the 19 Flags booklet, and within it was a really interesting quote: "Keep struggling for Palestine, because the struggle for Palestine will secure your freedoms in your countries. And if you compromise with solidarity with Palestine, then you compromise your freedoms in your country."